Today in the Smuggler's Room, Alright, forget it. My geeked out friends, we've got to talk about a serious problem that we have in the Smuggler's Room shop. We have a problem with hugs.
What?
Specifically, face hugs. Now, most of these are of the plushy variety, and we've tried several methods to deal with this issue. And I've even taken to fully outfitting my shopmate, TK421, with a variety of different weapons, bombs, and armament to try to deal with the problem with little to no result. So, today in the Smuggler's Room, we're going to focus on containment, because I think that will really solve our problem. That's coming up! What's up, you awesome geeks? I'm Brian, and welcome to the Smuggler's Room. This week, this chubby geek is celebrating our favorite month, Smugtobler. That's right, Halloween is right around the corner, and that means you're gonna get an eyeball full of whatever ridiculousness we can put together surrounding our favorite holiday. As it's our favorite time of year, we're also celebrating reaching 5,000 subscribers. Can I just take a minute to say thank you? Seriously, geeks, we are so incredibly appreciative of each and every one of you coming over to watch every single week. So, in honor of Smugtobler and reaching the 5,000 subscriber mark, we are taking on one of our most coveted prop projects from our fourth favorite film of all time, the Facehugger Stasis tube from James Cameron's 1986 Aliens. Let's get this face-hugging party started. So for all you Aliens fans in the room, you probably already know that the most challenging part of this build is the actual tube. I searched high and low for an economical solution to this part of the project. I found that for the size of prop I wanted, I was going to be looking at nothing less than $175 for a 10-inch diameter tube. Now call me cheap, but I just didn't want to spend that amount of coin. As it turns out, I spent $32 on a 4-foot by 8-foot sheet of clear polycarbonate thanks to my new friends at Facehugger. Now this means we will have a seam to deal with at the end of the day, but I'm pretty sure with the right techniques we can hide that or disguise that and have a prop that really looks good when all is said and done. By the way, a concrete form tube is a perfect way to get the shape and diameter you're looking for. I used this 10-inch Sono tube from Home Depot and it worked like a charm. The X-Carve helped me make quick work of the discs I needed at the top and bottom. It allowed me to be 100% accurate in my shape. But keep in mind, you could also do this with a router and a jig, or with something like a jigsaw and a steady hand. Alright, we busted out the laser cutter for the next part of the project. I wanted an additional ring for the top and bottom of the containment tube. In the actual prop, the top and bottom are pretty much a single piece, but I had trouble finding a 10-inch piece of PVC at the big box store. So I needed another design element that helped transition from the 10-inch tube to the 6-inch PVC fitting I found. Are you confused yet? Don't worry, you'll see what I mean here a little later. I also used a fair amount of styrene on this project. Now you can get styrene sheets from hobby stores or places like Amazon. Thanks to my friends at Facehugger, I was able to get sheets locally when I bought the polycarbonate. So if you find a local shop that sells in bulk, that's the way to go. Here is the 6-inch PVC I was telling you about. This will serve as the top and bottom caps of the prop. With a 4-inch hole saw on my drill, I was able to cut in a few holes that I thought matched pretty well to the screen use prop. We aren't going for screen accuracy here. As with most of the projects we do, we want to capture elements of the film used prop, but also add a bit of smuggler to it. You've probably heard me say many times that we like to play in the universe, but rarely stay 100% accurate. I think you can pull this off if you base most of your design on recognizable aspects of the prop, which is what we're doing here with the top and bottom, as well as the tube and the struts that will hold it all together. Oh, and don't forget your toilet flange, my friends. Very important in 65% of all sci-fi DIY projects. I found that for most of this build, I had to engineer the look I was looking for. What I mean to say is, I needed to be able to mechanically attach all the pieces for both the top and bottom in a way I could take it apart and put it back together. I also had to account for the 3 struts on the outside of the tube, which needed some kind of support. This is what took me the longest on this project. I wasn't able to just quickly glue everything together, but I had to figure out the mechanics of what I was building, which in the end was really rewarding. Pro tip: if you need to secure a bolt in place when it's upside down or in an awkward position, you can push it through the hole and hit it with a little CA glue followed by some activator. This will actually hold the bolt in place until you secure whatever it is over the top and then tighten it down with a nut. Now, a big thanks to my friend Ronnie for this awesome greebly. To be 100% clear, I am not a car guy. I am almost 100% sure that this greebly is from an engine, but I'm sorry, I have no idea what it is. Ronnie, my friend, if you're watching, please tell us in the comments below exactly what this is. I mean, I know where the engine is in my car, I know where to put the washer fluid and add some oil. But beyond that, if the car doesn't work, I'm walking. Now, I took this awesome piece apart and decided it was perfect for the base of the tube. I wanted some kind of device or unit at the bottom to not only house the lighting, but also that it might look like it had a function. Perhaps it processes the liquid in the tube, or plays the Facehugger's favorite tune. Not sure what that is though. Maybe I Want to Hug You from John Lee Hooker, or Hug You, Squeeze You by Stevie Ray Vaughan. I don't know. If you have another hug song, drop it in the comments below. Maybe together we can find the perfect tune to go along with this Facehugger containment tube. So once again, we played with our new laser cutter and made a little logo to place at the bottom. I know, it's not an Aliens themed logo, but hey, it's my Stasis tube, and who's to say that there isn't a Smuggler's Room manufacturer out there that makes bioweapons containment tubes? Now, for the Facehugger, as much as I would like to stuff my plushy friend in the tube and call it a day, I did really want an authentic looking Facehugger for this prop. I purchased this one from a member of the replica prop forum about 5 or 6 years ago for this specific project. That being said, I did find someone selling a similar looking kit on Etsy, and I linked that in the show notes below if you want one. This was a pretty easy project to work with. I did have to do some filling and spot putty, but I think that's mostly because I cut too much away when I was prepping. Also, due to the limitation in size of my tube, I had to use a heat gun to adjust the curl of the Facehugger's fingers so they would fit inside the tube, as well as eliminate part of the tail. Either way, after sanding and airbrushing work, you could hardly tell I had to do any additional work. Airbrushing is what really made this project come to life. I'm still really trying to figure out how to use the airbrush, but I have to say, this project got me super excited. I felt like the Facehugger turned out really well, and I was totally pleased with the final result, if not a little shocked. Okay geeks, we're getting really close to the finish line. This project was a monster build, but we are on the home stretch. We just need to get all the parts assembled, and then we can turn our heads toward the final details and weathering. Now, no project is complete without some stencils. I realized the film prop didn't have these, but I really wanted to add some additional elements to this. I even managed to slip in some personal details and a bit of airbrush because, well, it's the smuggler's room, so it's almost a requirement, right? I'll tell you what, I put off this project for a really long time. And I think I did that because I was waiting for the conditions or should I say materials, to be right. I thought if I didn't have a solid tube, the project wouldn't look right and I wouldn't be happy. And I was wrong. I'm really stoked with how this turned out. And I wanted to be able to encourage you that you can find the materials you need at a big box store, or even better, reach out to your local shops like I did with Plasticare and find somewhere that you can find materials that you need to build the project. Now you might be saying, well, what if it doesn't turn out right? What if it's not perfect? What if it's not screen accurate? I say forget all that. Jump out there, dive in, and give it a try. You can always improve upon it later or rebuild it in a better way the next time. Because you know what? It's all about the process of building something out of nothing. We are taking on the spit on my lip. So, in honor of... and as is this our...